Hello everyone, welcome for this new Embers Adrift weekly community show. I hope you're doing well and excited to know more about Embers Adrift. Today I'm going to discuss about the patch notes and more specifically about the new Skybox. In addition, we're going to dabble into a community topic, a discussion where you can participate, which is travel time. And then finally, I'm going to show you off a new content creator that I've covered Embers Adrift with 3 videos on YouTube. So, we are going to be starting this show immediately with the patch notes. There it is. Here we can see the beautiful patch notes. So, May the 18th, what is new? So, a little bit of context. Last week I was away, so there was not a weekly community show. And last week Undone was not really in holidays, but he was in a trip, and the team at Stormhaven Studio forbid him to take his laptop with him, so he could really take some time off, as he's really working super hard for the game and in need for his sanity to take some time off sometimes. So there it is. So there's a little bit less content for this week than there is usually. However, there is really nice progress that has been done and very exciting things coming up in the coming weeks. I cannot tell you more, but it's going to be really exciting. What is new? This week is mostly design adjustment, as I was out of town from Thursday, Monday. However, the new Skybox is finally being pushed for you all to test, which brings significantly better lighting all around. Please let us know how performance is and what your thoughts are regarding the new sky, clouds, etc. So the new Skybox is something we have been waiting for a long time. It's supposed to solve 2 problems at once. One, the discussion about darkness. You can still find the thread on the forum. We have been discussing it in the last episode. We have been discussing it most of the time on Discord, etc. What do you think about darkness? If you have something to say about it, you can leave a comment below here, or you can of course go on our forums and share your opinion over there. This feedback is going to be summarized at some point by my care, and I'm going to talk to you about it in a different episode, but not for now. But in any case, if you want to leave your opinion, just go there, you will find the links below. So the new Skybox is supposed to solve the darkness issue by lighting up a little bit more the landscape. So it finds a nice balance between darkness is important, it's a feature, you need to be attentive to where you go, you need to have your torch, your ground torch, but at the same time it is not pitch black like it was before. The second issue is the no compass, I cannot find my way type of issue. Now you do have the map, and you have a big giant planet in the sky, not a moon, a planet. And it's beautiful, it's gorgeous. We're going to see it later when I will be playing the games in 1 hour from now. The planet is really nice because it really shows that we are not on Earth, that it is a different world, it's a different land, it's really different from what you know. But a little secret about the planet is that we are actually on the moon of the planet that you see in the sky. So that's also something really fantastic. And that planet is a fixed point in the sky. So you know if this planet is situated to the north, you kind of have your compass. You just don't have to have it into your interface. It's in the sky. So you watch the sky, you see the planets, you can see during the day or during the night, you know, with your map what's the direction. But I'm going to show you that with an example in a moment as well. So we do have plenty of bugs, fixes, and improvement. So a lot of things have been improved, like every week. One thing that I find interesting, it's creatures spawn from destroyable spawn controller. The anthill and the rat nets now get a charge buff every time the parent spawner change health tier. Our test today concluded that this is not enough to make the ants more dangerous, so other improvements are being discussed internally. So what happened was the ants and the rat nest. So the anthill and the rat nest are a little mound that spawn an infinite amount of rat and of ants. So what you have to do is to kill the ant or to kill the rat, then destroy the anthill or the rat nest. It's the ant hill and the rat nest that are providing experience and loot, not the creatures themselves, obviously. They are infinitively spawning. We don't want you to have the possibility of getting rat spawn infinitively and getting plenty of loot. That will not be balanced. So that's the reason why it's the rat nest and the ant hill that provide the loot and the experience. However, as the animals were not dangerous enough, players were basically just bypassing them. They were ignoring the rat, ignoring the ant, and just going straight forward for the anthill or the rat nest, destroying it, getting loot, and going to the next. And that's not exactly what we want. We want you to have a challenge and to have to deal with the ants and with the rats. So we're trying to find solution to make this encounter more dangerous for you and to force you to deal with the ants that are spawning and not just going directly for the loot. Xindred is saying ants down the spawn after you kill the hill, and any hill can direct any ant in a huge area to investigate attack. Dry food can end up with hundreds of ants in the area around hills. That's also a problem, indeed. If they don't despawn, a different type of problem. But yeah, then you have another group that is innocently passing by and they get attacked by 100 ants. 100 angry ants that has not been dealt with previously by the previous group. That's not going to work, and it might cause some stress on the server as well if that happens a lot. We can think that this kind of encounter, if abused by several groups, could cause some problems. In any case, it's always nice to receive some feedback from the players, so we know what's going wrong, what kind of solution we need to find to ensure that it's working as intended, and you have some exciting content to deal with, which is fair, challenging, offers some nice rewards, but not too much rewards, so it needs to be well balanced. In any case, it's a first change, so your feedback is more than wished for this specifically, but yeah, you can give the feedback for anything, of course. So what else is really important? Now you will see that there is no more exile in the Dryfoot Mountain Pass. The exiles have been forcibly removed from the Dryfoot Mountain Pass by the local marauders. Interesting. And the duelist, I am a duelist with my second character. Weak point has its resist debuff increased. That I will have to try. New abilities, that's also something important. New abilities added for level 22, 26 and 30 for Juggernaut, Knight, Marshal, that's the 3 defender, Brigand and Berserker, that's 2 striker. The rest should follow next week. The rest will be the Warden, the Duelist, the Warlord, and the Sentinel, which are the 3 supporter. Alright, let's get to the exciting stuff now. The Skybox. This week, we're trying out a new Skybox Deck, which will yield the following improvements. 1. Vastly improved lighting, especially during dawn and dusk. 2. Vastly improved volumetric clouds. They may still be some artifacting near the edge, but should be far less noticeable than the previous Skybox. And 3. Improved celestial rendering, phase, better exposure, etc. In addition to the above improvement, I have added an exposure adjustment slider in the video option, which I will show you in-game because that's pretty important. Different monitors of different contrast range are calibrated differently. This can cause the brightness of night in our game to differ drastically from monitor to monitor. Case in point, with this new Skybox, everything looked perfect on my Dell monitor, but upon examining the same scene on my MacBook Pro's display, the scene was nearly black. At the end of the day, I don't think we can accurately compensate for this based on the information available to us, which is why the exposure adjustment slider was added. This slider restricts the minimum exposure of a scene, meaning that it should not impact the day. It will also not currently work in the dungeons. The current range is 0 to 1.25, where 0 is brighter and 1.25 is darker. For my Dell monitor, a setting of 1.25 is appropriate, but on my MacBook's display, a setting of 0, the default, is ideal. Please let us know how performance of this build compared to that of last week. The only major change is the new Skybox Deck, but there's a lot of change wrapped up in that. So the other things important to know is that if you're changing these settings, you will have to restart your game. It's only going to be validated once you restart your game, so that's important. So if you want to know more about the patch notes, I invite you to read them yourself. We have the work in progress, what's coming next, the crafting updates, the stat consolidation, and the known issue. All of that is written down. If you don't like to read patch notes, I invite you to watch Alice's video on YouTube. She's reading them for you. Malik is saying, I have a Dell monitor, so it should be good. I have put the settings myself to 0. Because otherwise it was super dark. But there had been, so when we tested the content, it was on Wednesday, and there had been a patch since then, and I didn't have the time to check it out, so I'm wondering, it has tweaked several things because there had some little things to polish, and it has been done. So it's going to be quite exciting. That new Skybox is really cool. You're going to see that in a moment. Now I would like to discuss about the travel time. If you are interested by this discussion, you can find the discussion opened by Mr. DDT here, and there is some explanation from Undone over here. So I'm not going to read the text here aloud, and I'm just going to talk to you about it because you already have plenty of discussion. So the idea is, and basically what Mr. DDT is saying is that the travel time is very long. In Embers Adrift, walking around takes a lot of time. So the reason why we have done the game that way is because we want an immersive experience and not a lobby type of experience. Nowadays, video games are more and more convenient for the player. They make things easier and easier, and you just click on a button, join a matchfinder, etc., and you are instantly teleported to a place or another. Or you can just bounce from one teleporter to another. You have that in different games, may it be Elder Scrolls Online or Guild Wars 2. You can just jump around and really minimize your traveling time if you don't want to go around, which is very convenient, allow you to go faster to your goal, but at the same time, you can also completely avoid to travel, which in some games is very fine. Some games are not about traveling, some games are not about being immersed into it. Some games just want you to go to dungeon mostly or to PvP area and want you to go fast, and that's very fine. But some other game want you to travel. This is our case. We want Embers Adrift to be an adventure. We want it to be immersive. We want you to take the time to look around you and to have stuff happening on your way. Maybe your goal was to go to the next camp, but on your way you meet someone which is in trouble, so you decide to group up, and then you make a group with that person, and suddenly you're doing a whole new adventure, and you're not going to the next camp. That's also part of the unexpected that can happen on the road when you are traveling. That being said, there's still some issue, and Mr. DDT have some good points. First of all, his idea is like, if I have already visited the place, I don't want to go. I don't want to have to travel all the time. The world is too big. I'm spending my life running around. I want to go directly in the action. I want a way to go back to the action. If I need to go back in town to change my bank, etc., I need to walk for 30 minutes. He's exaggerating a little bit. It's not 30 minutes, but it's kind of long. It's true. So that's one problem. The other problem is that while traveling is nice for the feel of adventure, it is not nice when you're trying to set up a group. And you're doing, okay, we are doing this, the stronghold in dry food. And you set up your group and 3 persons are already at the stronghold, and then you find another player but is in New Haven, super far away, and he has to run the whole road by himself, or you have to grab your group and go back all the way back to escort that person. Some of the territory are dangerous. You don't want to travel by yourself, so it's kind of make a sort of hindrance to group making, and some players are discouraged and are just not grouping, or they're saying, okay, well, I have only 30 minutes to play the game right now, and I will have to spend 20 minutes to join the group, so no thanks, I'm skipping. So that's the kind of things we don't want. So that's why we have this discussion. What should we do to preserve the feel of adventures and exploration and vastness of the world without transforming the game into a fast lobby or jumping to point to teleport, but while respecting players' time and while allowing some easiness for a group to form. So there's plenty of solution that has been already been evoked by the dev team. It's still in iteration. You can read that in the patch notes, but I'm going to tell you a little bit what it is. I'm going to read you what it is, so I'm not mistaken. You have the real things. We are also considering allowing players to spend their Ember essence. So the Ember essence will be an essence that you will find by killing monster, and then it will fill a little stone that you will carry on yourself, and you will have different way of spending that essence. Some of it could be used in crafting and some of it could be used in traveling. So that's what we're talking about right now. So allowing players to spend their Ember essence on the following. Please note that all of those are consideration, that's very important, and still up for discussion. 1. Use Ember Ring and or Elloa as summoning stone, which could be a summon from within the same zone or maybe across zone, depending of the number of people involved. A Hearthstone-like ability that will return to the nearest Ember Ring Elloa, which will come with a long cooldown. Adding and the long cooldown, while it has been discussed already that it might not be a long cooldown, that might just be a cooldown. Adding a temporary aura to Embering that will provide long-lasting temporary buff for those near the rings. So, the two things that are being considered are a summoning feature, so you can summon your friends to make them come to you more easily. That will be in certain places, like the summoning stone in World of Warcraft in front of the dungeon that were used before the dungeon finder was in operation, or a hearthstone like ability, so that will allow you to go back in town or to go back to the nearest Ember Ring hollow. Well, we still need to decide exactly how we want to do that, but you got the idea. A summoning stone to get your friends together, and a hearthstone to go back to a certain place, which will allow you also to exit a dungeon faster if you need to go out, etc. So those are features that I think are quite important, and they are not altering the feel of adventures and the need for players to travel, but will make the life of players a little bit easier within certain restrictions. Malik is saying, it's a good discussion. I really like the adventure aspect, but I understand that sometimes travel can be inconvenient, having to recover the same ground all the time. Yes, that's one of the things. I personally don't mind so much the personal, individual need of traveling and walking around. Some people have suggested into that text to find more activities to do on the way, because at the moment what we have on the way, if you're traveling, what can you do? Well, you can gather things, maybe you can find a mob or stuff like that, or you can chat with people, but you don't have much else to do. When the quests will be introduced, you will have also quests that you could do or stuff like that. There will be at some point some discoverable items as well, like lore item or things like this. So that's also something that will incite and reward exploration, and all of that is not currently in the game. It's just worked on, and those are going to be implemented step by step as we continue to develop the game during the beta. So my opinion, my personal opinion, so that's me as a player, I don't mind to travel through the land myself. I like it. I think it's cool. I enjoy the fact that I have to walk around, so I'm pretty sure after a while I will be tired like everyone else, or avoiding to go in certain places because it will have an influence on my way of playing games. So I think that the Hearthstone type of thing, it's kind of nice, or to maybe have some kind of transport. We have been speaking about chariots, riding, and something like that. It doesn't work with the lore too, so that's why I think we will not have that. But some way to allow you to come back faster, for example, to the main city or to a place that you have decided to bound yourself. Most MMORPG are doing that system, even Final Fantasy is doing this, so I guess it makes sense. But my biggest concern is the ease of making groups. I am a GM, so I have access to GM command. I decide to really experience the game as a player, as any beta tester, to not use those GM commands for myself. So because I could just, avoid to be killed, do a big heal or kill all mobs around me if I'm in trouble. But I'm not doing that, so I'm still dead, I'm still losing my bag, etc. So I play it very genuinely, intently, so I really have the experience, even if it bothers me, so I can experience that it's bothering me, and then I can give my feedback as well. I can experience it truly. So I'm not cheating was the GM command unless I do a GM activity, of course. Then I am using that, obviously. But what I've noticed is very often I am abusing my GM power to make group faster. So I'm like, we need one more to the exile camp. We want to join. Someone is joining up. I see that person is in South New Haven. I say, okay, up summon. And then that person is back. Or it has happened already that I port everyone out in the dungeon in the next village. Stuff like that to make grouping faster, etc. In my ID during the beta testing is just so players which are playing with me, it's not all the time, can be a little bit more efficient and earn some times. So they're saving time. If someone say, oh, I have only 30 minutes to join you, I don't know if I want to come in the dungeon, I say, yeah, never mind, I will port you out if you don't have the time. It's okay, join us. And so I think that it's going to be very important to have something to allow and make grouping easier. Grouping is the point of the game. Playing with other players is the point of the game. It's already challenging enough to get players to play together. So we need to make that experience as comfortable as possible. So as long as I don't mind an individual to have to walk and cross the whole land by himself, that's okay to me. But for when people want to do a group activity, I want them to be able to gather together. That's why I really like the idea of the Warlock summoning spell in World of Warcraft that you had. I think that was very nice because one person in the group need to be in the right place with two others, and the three can summon everyone else from the group. That's a half group that need to be at the right place that can summon another half group. And I think that's balanced. It still requires some people to move to the right place than to summon the other. I prefer that solution than the summoning stone because here you can do that in the wilderness. You don't have to go back to the Ember Ring. That being said, both solutions are good. Hello Inea, hello Glossdrogan. Glossdrogan say perhaps making it less available for a single person to travel, but what about having it only available if people are in a group or only one teleport location per zone? Yeah, something like that. I think that will be the idea, to make grouping easier and to ensure that group players don't have to use too much time, because that will be a lot of downtime. Jana is saying, I think it will be nicer to have that ability for each class. Yes, absolutely. I was just using the Warlock spell as reference, but yeah, I don't want it to be for one class specific. That would be sucky. Sorry. But I think it doesn't need to be an ability from a class. It could be an item or something. Maybe you have to do a quest, or you need to craft, or you need to earn. It doesn't have to be something easy, but I think it needs to be available to everyone. And I think it should be part of something. Xindred is saying the downside of the Warlock summoning is being the Warlock, you were required to go everywhere while others go to lazy mode. But that fact made luck desirable to a party. Yes, but then again, I will not want to be exclusive to one specific class. It will have to be done by everyone, because the idea will be to make things easier, and to make it specific for one class will not make things easier for everyone to group up, and will make one class more desirable or needed in every group. And what about if the Warlock is the one that's, need to go back in town? So maybe something related to Ember. Yes, that will obviously be related to Ember, because anything that sounds magical is related to Ember. And there's plenty of things we can think about. This is, of course, discussion that are being discussed internally, or not internally, on the forum. So if you want to discuss about that subject, guys, you can go until this thread and share your point of view over there. I've not made a focused thread about it, a focused discussion like I did for the darkness and for the equipment, but there was, you know, Mr. DDT took care of making this thread, so let's use that one. Glad the Dragon is saying, why not have like a caravan option from town to town, make it expensive, so you will never want to use it solo. So charge like X amount, but split it amongst the group in a party. That's something we have been discussing and thinking about already, but it doesn't really make much sense from a lore point of view. That will mess up a little bit our lore. Or it could be done, but as a later service, like the whole server have to do a quest to make that service happen. That's something that could happen. So you will not have those services at the release of the game, but you will have to earn it. That could be something nice to do. In addition, you will have this feeling that the world is becoming more tamed by the player, which is exactly fitting with the lore. When you arrive to New Haven and the society of New Haven is dwelling, it's weak and they have lost contact with some outpost in the wilderness, and then you, the players, bond together, will work to make things flourish again, and maybe work to make those connection possible again, but that will be done later on in a future patch or something like that. But I think that could be exciting and will involve the whole community, so that's also something we could discuss about. All right, well, that's it for this discussion. I think we can all continue to discuss about that subject in the thread, give the feedback to the dev team, so we can really make a decision according to your ideas, according to your wishes and to your feedback. And like what Mix is just saying, it's very important. It's the type of feedback that we need, and we need to find ourselves with the dev team the right balance between our vision to not betray it, and then make things work the best to serve the game and the community and the players that we are targeting. So obviously a lot of people that are playing other MMORPG will want everything fast-paced, speed up, like living is too slow, traveling is too long, there is no compass, where is my quest marker, etc. But that's not the game we're building. We're not building the game for them specifically. If they're not happy, well, that's fine. Say, well, continue to play the other games that you enjoy to play, that are more fast-paced, that are more action-oriented, etc. Here, it's a certain type of experience we want to offer, but we need to tailor that experience so it's pleasant and agreeable for our community. Gloddragon is saying, so my only worry really with development is that you get way more input from Petite, we have more time to play. Please don't forget to consider those of us who can't. Has a mentor system been considered so available players don't have to make alt every time they want to help a new player or someone that doesn't play often? Yeah, this is something we have been discussed about, but we will not be able to have the technology in place for launch, because that's a big chunk. You know, the scaling things, that's a very big stuff. So that I know will not be on launch, but this is something that have been discussed. I am extremely in favor of that personally, so I'm very loud to speak about that kind of things. I am from the point of view that we need to make grouping and the social aspect of the game experience easier, because players are a little bit lazy. Let's be honest. Players are a little bit lazy and they will tend to do one thing because it's easier rather than the other because it costs a little bit more effort. If we want people to group up together, if we want people in the game to be replayable, etc., we need to think about certain stuff. I personally was in favor of having everything scaling, like Guild Wars 2 or Elder Scrolls Online and stuff like that. That's not going to happen. That was my wish. So a player could just, jump around, etc. But the mentor system will be a nice solution. You have to level up yourself and then you can scale down to your group or something like that. But this is a very big chunk of content and of technology to develop. And we still have a pocket team. Xindred, there is no restriction for a high level to help a low level, as far as I know. I've gone through CV as a 20 plus just to have a little fun and feel the difference after advancing my character. Yes, of course, you can do that, but then you will not have the same challenge. And I am more personally in the idea that it's nice that you have, as a high level player, have good reason for your own interest to go back into the first areas. I also in favor of an achievement system, for example, which will allow people, a completion list of things to do, which might add some replayability to the content. All that kind of things are being considered and discussed, but we need to choose what's most important to create the experience we want. Because we're a small team, and so we need to develop the game in a smart and wise way, and then all the other stuff will be done after launch. I would like to do a shout out. It's time for a shout out from a community member that is doing some wait a second, where's my, there we go. So here it is. This is a YouTuber that is covering Embers Adrift. He has done 3 videos about Embers Adrift. I've only seen the first one. I've not seen the second one and the third one, which I wanted to do, and I will do at some point. The YouTuber is called Super Bits and Bob. It's a British man which has played plenty of old school MMORPG, and we really enjoy to beta test games and to give his feedback, etc. So check him out. It's interesting. He has his point of view. I've been contacting him as well personally. So it's someone we're going to see around, I do believe. And well, let's have a look about this little video that I've not seen. So we're going right in the middle of the video and see what Super Beats and Bob is thinking about the dungeon.
Hello friends, welcome to the channel. Bob here.
Is this sound good?
Another Embers Adrift video. Now I've got a lot to talk about today, so I've kind of got some pre-recorded footage. What you're going to see is some dungeon stuff, some names and whatnot, and bit of loot that we get from those and that kind of thing. So yeah.
Oh, it was Hasbro.
Kind of a selection of stuff that I did in the game over the last few days. First of all, I want to say a big thank you to Steve and Dave, friends of the channel, who I hooked up with over the last few days to play some of the game, get some footage and stuff and whatnot. Yeah, and thanks a lot. It was an awesome time. Had a great time. So there's a lot to talk about. But what I'll do first of all is just to quickly cover a couple of things that I spoke about in the previous videos that I did. First of all, a little bit about Unity and using Unity. I know a couple of you guys mentioned it as well about using Unity and kind of like trying to get your own identity in the way the game looks. I do think that that's something that needs to be worked on. But saying that, as if any of you watched my Shroud the Avatar videos, you'll know that I enjoyed the scenes in Shroud the Avatar. I thought they were really immersive and stuff, and this game is kind of the same. You know, I mean, we went to the Meadowlands, which is a really big open zone with a load of interesting stuff to see. And yeah, the more I've played the game, the more I've really enjoyed it, and I find this game probably even more immersive than Shroud the Avatar. To be honest, I'm finding it really, really, really awesome. Now I've got into it, and yeah, the Meadowlands is my favourite zone. It's a
That's
massive
good.
zone. It's open as well. It's got some. It's kind of got some forested areas, but it's a big bowl and it's really open. And there was a point where we were fighting some mobs, and the moon came up, and the lighting in this game is amazing, and the lighting from the moon across the landscape was really, really awesome. And it was one of those moments which I probably didn't get on video. I'll check to see if it will be included in this video or not. If I did, hopefully you'll see it. Yeah, but the look at it is I've really grown to enjoy it. I think the issue was
I hope that you will enjoy our new Skybox now, because the moon and the lighting is going to be very different. And it's true that the full moon on Midland before, it was gorgeous. It was really, really nice. In any case, if you want to watch the video of Super Bits and Bob, that's really nice. I didn't had the occasion to see this video, so I really jumped into it like that by chance, and just followers making plenty of compliment about the game. That's really cool. So that's very, very pleasant. So this man has done 3 videos. Check him out, give him a subscribe or something. So I'm going to do that. There we go. It is done. Do the same. So that's the community shout out of the week. All right, guys, do you have any question? Oh yes, of course, Marborn. We are receiving plenty of feedback from the game, and this is one of the things we are really doing well. Well, me not, because I'm not the tech director. But Undone, which is the tech director, is really using the feedback very much. So he's listening to the players, is discussing with the player, may it be on Discord, the forum, or directly on voice chat as well, observing also people's behavior in game, and having discussion with them, especially when they have something they don't like. So his goal, because I've been discussing with him specifically about that, when someone is giving negative feedback about the game, what he will do is continue to ask questions to see what's the root problem, what's the cause of the problem. He's a very smart person, and so he will really figure out things to make and to find how we can alleviate the problem. Is it a problem that we need to address, or is it a problem that we don't need to address? And then how can we transfer that to respect our ID and our vision, while still listening to the feedback of the player, and also be sure that is it fun? That's the most important question. It will not be fun for everyone, because your experience of fun is different from one person to another, but it needs to be fun for our core audience. Oh yeah, there we go, you were there in the chat, oh my god. Hello, hi, nice to meet you. So I've only seen one video of you, I've not seen the 2 others that you have been publishing, but I just jumped right by chance in one video like that. Okay, let's take this moment in this video, and you were making a nice compliment, so it was really cool, very heartwarming. So welcome on the channel, it's super sweet. There it is. But let's see, where is the planet? Where is the planet? Where is it? There! Behind the cloud, there's the planet. So you can see this big planet. Well, you can miss it, but you cannot really miss it. Okay, even when there is clouds, you can see the big planet. So that big planet doesn't have a name yet. I don't know if Undone already has named it. He's the astrophysician, so he's the one creating the sky. He really wants to have this beautiful kind of science-fi feel to our sky, so you are not on Earth. It's not your regular sun and your regular moon. Here it's a big planet, and the idea is that we are on the moon of the planet. So that's what's going on. So that's why there is no moon, because we are the moon. And that's the big planet. You will see it at night. It's really lighting up nicely, but that also gives you the sense of direction. So you have your map like this. The big planet is showing you the north. Ember, the might of rank. Oh, I see. Well, it's a kind of cool name too. It might be a little bit redundant, but it's cool. So I know already that I was on the road here, was the embering over there that I had discovered. So I know where I'm situated. I'm situated a little bit here, and now I know exactly where I can go on my map. If I want to go to the north, I have to go in this direction. If I want to go to the south, I have to go in this direction. So that planet is what serves you as compass, which is why we have been saying to everyone, no compass discussion until we have the new Skybox. So now we have the new Skybox. Now you can direct yourself in the game. You don't have to get a UI interface to know where you are. You don't need to have a little marker on your map. You can just check your map, check the planets, and see where you are. Of course, it doesn't work in a dungeon. Well, the Might of Rank, you may not know that, but we do have a thread to name places. I've been talking about that in some past episode. And so we do have a thread where we ask people to name embering, point of interest, like the Wolf Cave. How do you want the Wolf Cave to be called? Do you have a name for it? And then some people have said, yeah, but we don't know much about the lore. But that's all right. You don't need to know much about the lore. You imagine yourself, you were one of the first guy to come up here, discovering this land, one of the pioneers. How would you have called that place? Probably the Wolf Den, you will have called it the Wolf Den, because that's this name that makes the most sense. Okay, I'm going to target, no, it's a 2 chevron. I'm not doing 2 chevron, even if they're green. Not when I'm alone. I'm going to get that stag. Stag and doe are nice because they are dropping the region that I need for my abilities. The stag and the wolf are dropping an ability for Berserker. And the doe is releasing an ability for a region, sorry, not an ability, for my duelist. And with my duelist, I'm only doing group content, so I don't really have the occasion to farm the animals because I'm more doing like the exile fort or something like this, and then I find myself with no region, which is not good. With my berserker, I'm a double bow berserker, which I find enjoyable. You just need to craft a lot of arrows. That's the only problem. You see, here are two chevron target, but I can avoid them. Oh, it's also okay. The wolf are always 2 chevron, it seems. Let's see that one. Yeah. Okay, let's get this though instead. I'm going to use follow through, and then the fury, which is dazing me, and so I'm just going to do that. Really? My auto attack is that slow. I think the light is really beautiful. It has improved, and it should also improve your performance. It should improve the lighting. So that's the sun, which is not the sun, of course. That's a big planet. Alright, I'm going to gather the carcass. So I think I forgot to get the carcass of the deer earlier. And you see my outfits that I have? I was not like that the last time you saw me. Right? Okay, granted it has been a while. But you can observe my beautiful costume, new armor. Apparently that set is not the best set in the game. Ah, that's cool. That's exactly the region I need. It's perfect. But I think it's look cool. And it's a set that I found here. I was on the south of the map, I think. When I get there. I think I was around this edge. Yeah. So, which is the west. Totally not the south. But the west. And then you have a named elk or stag, which is called Strider. And it drops you this set of armor. The Strider one. So I have Strider helm. Strider bracers. And Strider cuirass. And it just gives me exactly my armor weight. So I'm one below. So I have 89 in IC. It's pretty good. I will have to repair my stuff, especially my tools. So we can already think about going towards the city. The city, which is in this direction. So we have some travel to do. I need to avoid the ruins because the ruins are filled with bats and rats, and they are in groups and they are high level. The Mind of Frank is saying the Ember speaker styling in Robin Hood inspired ensemble coming into stock soon. Yeah, exactly. I'm posing, I'm modeling right now. Ready for an adventure? Get the Strider set. Buy it now in our cash shop. That's a joke, we don't have a cash shop and we'll never will, okay? But still, it's annoying. You can see now that the sunset is getting so much better. Now, guys, you can see for the first time the beautiful sunset with the new skybox. And now the colors are not washed out like they were before, and the clouds are not turning like those red little clouds. So it's really looking cool. And then the whole landscape is turning orange. It's a very beautiful light. It's really, really cool. While this side, it's still very, very blue. So that looks awesome. Look at that. Yeah, the transition is great. It's turned slowly more and more yellow. And now you can see the big planet better in the sky. Maybe the gamma is a little bit strong, but it's cool. What a fiery sky. Let's remove the interface to really enjoy that sunset. Like before, you didn't really had a nice transition when the sun was sunsetting. And here you really have this slow transition with the colors changing. It came from yellow to pink now. Now it's orange and pink. And then it's going to turn purple, I guess. Yes, here it's going to be purple, yeah. There you have purple clouds. And we'll see step by step the stars going on. Still some yellow here. There we go. Now the sun is down. The clouds are purple. It's getting darker. You have some little flash things happening. This is something that's being currently worked on as well. It's kind of funny. It's look like Christmas. But yeah, it's not perfect, but it's a new technology we have installed last week, and so not this week. There it is. Look at this. Really nice. See the big planet? Now you can really see it beautifully. All right, we are going to have to... Oh my god, there I am. I completely lose my way. That's not where I wanted to go. That means... No. I'm not going to attempt to get that wood. There's too much crawler over here. That's not something I want to do by myself. Yes, this transition is much better. By the way, do you hear the sound of the game? Sorry for the coughing. Sometimes I forget to mute myself when it happens. Because I know that Embers Adrift is always slow. It might also be a little bit low here. No, that's good. All right. And there we go. Here are the stars. So that starry sky, I think it's a little bit less realistic than the other one we had. But it's still very nice. And that's something that we might continue to work on as well. But at least we have the big planet working on. The nice transition with the sunset and the dawn. And now you can find your way. With the landscape and the planet, so you always know where you're situated. We know that we're somewhere here now. There's somewhere like here, just before the lake here somewhere. And the sky is not as dark. And here, look, this is beautiful. It's look a little bit like a Arabian night sky, I think. So it's still dark, but it's not pitch black dark. And so for that was the other things I needed to show you that was important, which is you can go in new option in the video, and then you can adjust the exposure. So 0 is the brightest. If you want to have it darker, you can go you know, up in the exposure adjustment, but you need to reset your game. You need to log off and log back in to see it effective. So that's my experience. Look at that. It's beautiful. Now it's the night, guys. We have been assisting to the sunset. And so that's the current darkness that you have in the world. Hello Tigan! Hi! I want to play this game seriously, but I know myself I will not like the legacy way of playing. And hello, by the way. Hello, Tigan. Do you mean the old school style? When you say the legacy? Oops. We don't want to cross those guys. I'm going to take a screenshot of this because that's beautiful. Look at that. It's gorgeous. Oh, poor Tigan. I'm sorry. Well, good luck with your meeting. Hope it's going to be fine. Yeah, it's not for everyone, that's for sure. You need to see for yourself if it's something that, you know, maybe wait a little bit more that the game releases, something like that, and see what you think, because that might be, it's a difficult way to describe. I don't know if you played old school game, I imagine you did. And how will you feel playing it? Because that's what it is about. It's difficult to describe you an experience. It's better to see for yourself and feel it. Yep. We cannot go by this way. There is too big crocodile. What am I doing? Are following me? No, I should have taken the road instead of trying to take a shortcut like that. Too much. Is Embers Adrift is really about having a group, making friends, having an adventure. It's not so much for soloing. Even to you absolutely can solo. I'm streaming me solo playing every week, so it is possible to solo, but that's not where the game shines. The game shines in group play. And in a group, it is a very specific experience because you have the social aspect that you cannot really describe. The minor Frank, I dropped everything I was playing last year and restarted. Nice. Mix is saying the retro style is precisely why I love it. Generally dislike the direction MMO seems to have gone those days. Yeah. For you, then it's kind of easy because you really have some grief against the direction the MMORPG are taking right now. But for the people that enjoy those current games, that like the fast-paced action type of combats, the easiness of getting into groups and, you know, that kind of things, and be teleported into the dungeon and that kind of stuff. Some people really enjoy that and are very, very, very happy with this aspect of the fact that the game is free to play and they don't need to pay a subscription. And they can have loot box and be excited about their loot. Some people like it. Honestly, I do like it. But I also like the other experience. And I think for the player that are not missing, are not EverQuest nostalgic, that doesn't mean they will not enjoy that experience. They just need to dare to try it and see if they will actually enjoy it. But it's a kind of a risk, obviously, because nothing is telling them, guaranteeing them that they will actually enjoy that. And it also relates to a lot of aspects that are difficult to really describe or be certain about, like making friends, making a good group. If your community or the friend you meet suck, then you might not really have a good experience. While if you find your first day super cool and helpful people, then immediately you might be seduced by the game. Oh, my inventory is full already. Oh, I'm wondering why. I really need to find a sentinel. I have too much sentinel stuff to offer, damn it. Okay, let's go to the city. I will just follow the roads. it's going to be. I should have sticked on the road instead of going and venture in the wilderness where there's plenty of danger aimed for groups. It's watching me. Thank you so much everyone for watching this show. I hope you enjoyed yourself. If you have any questions, do not hesitate to leave them in the comments below. Check out also all the links I have provided for you if you're interested to find our website, our Discord, our social media, or the thread I've been discussing about in this show. Thank you so very much. You take care of yourself, and I will see you next week for another episode. See you soon. Bye.